Hi, everyone. Welcome to Damn Fine TV. Damn Fine TV goes to the movies. I am one of your hosts, Jay.
And I'm Mel's.
And we are back to chat about a little film called Lisa Frankenstein. Before we get into all of it, this is a Mel's pick. So, when we were covering Longlegs and Maxine, those were new views for both of us. This time around, Mel's had seen, I almost called it Maxine. Mel's had seen Lisa Frankenstein, I think, a couple of times, and I hadn't seen it yet. So Mel's suggested we watch this. And I guess I just want to know, like, why was this was top of the list for you? So why was it so high up there? Why was this your like J must see?
Well, okay, it's in the top of the list for me because it's weird. And I thought to myself, if there is one thing that Jay is going to most of the time agree with myself on, it's weird stuff. So I gosh, I'm gonna be honest, I'm very nervous. Like for Maxine and Longlegs, I was like, oh no, I'm fairly 99% sure we're gonna be on the same page about it. But like I'm a tad little bit nervous because I think Lisa Frankenstein has gotten a lot of mixed feelings, like or whatever. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. Now, I've yes seen it probably at this point 20 times. I when I tell you I'm obsessed with this, I'm obsessed with it. So
Yeah.
tell me, tell me.
Well, I can totally see why you would want to watch it that many times. When I got to the end of it, I thought this definitely has rewatch value for sure. In fact, I think this movie has like cult classic written all over it because it did not great at the box office. Like I don't think it hit its budget at all. And I don't even remember hearing about it. So like I think they really flopped the marketing. Like I don't think it was given the proper chance that it probably deserved. But it is weird. It's so weird. It's so much its own thing. It's got like Beetlejuice vibes. It's got Edward Scissorhands vibes. It has those like makings of a cult classic that you could absolutely watch time and time again. It can be put on in the background. I overall, I loved it and I will watch it again. I struggled to get into it a little bit and I'm not sure why. So maybe we can like work through it during this conversation because I really can't put my finger on what I was struggling with in the first half because again, like it had all of these markers, like it was hitting certain buttons, but there was like something that was just like not hitting for me for some reason. I really don't know, but it had 80s vibes, which I was super into. Like I had no idea that this took place late 80s. So that was really nice. It has a super quirky, super bizarre tone to it. It's very like it's not a spoof, but it has spoofy vibes to it as well. So I don't know, it had all of these things that I know I like, but there was something there's like a turn that the movie makes for me. And I think it's when they kill Janet and from there something happens and I'm fully on board.
Yeah. Okay. So gosh, well, where do we begin? Okay. Let's see. For just for me, because it's very much it's obviously everything you just said, but like Tim Burton vibes, right? Which I mean, honestly, that's just probably gonna hit for me most of the time. We're not going to talk about the TV show Wednesday. I did not like it. Spoiler alert. But it was that mixed in with like Heather's. fucking love Heathers. Okay. So that weirdo tone, like dark comedy, but also if you are a weirdo, I guess like at heart, you kind of get like what's happening, right? So it was hitting all that for me. I will say it took a couple of views for me to kind of get past where I struggle still, even though I love this movie forever and ever, always. It's like second half or second act, somewhere in there, it either drags or something happens around that point. Like I really get into it at at the end, like really halfway all the way through. So like the beginning of it can be hit or miss for me, depending on I guess like what mood I'm in. There are things from the first act and like the first half that I absolutely adore, but second half or like towards the end of the second act through the end of it is like where I just like, you know, blow my wad, I guess. you know,
It's where in your genes.
yes, exactly. It's my Mr. C like moment, I guess, right?
It's really where you find your own back massager in the closet, turn it on, and start using that puppy.
Yeah.
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 That's interesting. So we're kind of on the same page about that then. Like I was trying to like figure out how to bring this to words. And I wasn't trying to be funny, but as I was coming up with this, I was like, it literally feels like there's some sort of jolt of lightning that happens halfway through the film that brings this thing alive. There's something in the beginning that just like I can see there's so much potential. It's all there. And I mean, it's fucking Diablo Cody. Like we know that this person can write punchy and snappy dialogue, but it was almost like it was like a it was the you know how some people can only snap with one finger? It's the snap that doesn't give the snap. Like it was there, but it didn't make the same sound. Like I don't know. Maybe I wonder if it was like not fully on board with itself almost in the beginning. Like it was trying to do too many things, like pay homage here, pay homage there, do this thing, do that thing. And then it kind of like really just coalesced and found its footing at that halfway mark because it really is like they kill Janet and then Lisa comes downstairs the next morning drinking from a bottle, and her dad goes, "Is that Sherry?" There's a long ass moment, and then she goes, "No, it's Lisa." And
Yeah.
I fucking cried laughing.
Yeah.
That was so funny to me. And the comedic timing of Catherine Newton, is it? Is
Mhm.
absolutely impeccable. It
Yeah.
was so good. And then from then on, it just like escalates to the point where a recently dead man is cutting off another man's penis so that he can have sex with this girl that he all of a sudden loves, which is, I mean, that's great. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I mean, that's a love story for the ages, if I'm just being honest.
I mean, it, it, yeah, it truly is its own little quirky romance that is not a romance until so far into it. It's like it sneaks up on them that they're in a romantic comedy. And I think that's great.
Don't make me cry because I'm here to tell everyone, even though I've seen this 20-ish times at this point, I still fucking cry at the end of this movie every single time. So
Like
everything,
end with the poem.
honestly, from the moment that I guess after they consummate, and then she's like, I have to die. Like
Yeah.
that really is the moment where I'm like, okay, fucking keep it together. Okay. I can't help it. I will say this though. I love with all of my heart. And so I think this probably influences a lot of how I feel about Lisa Frankenstein. I love Frankenstein. I love Bride of Frankenstein, always, forever. I
Yeah.
read Frankenstein, I think, for the first time in sixth grade. My mother bought me this little box set that of the classics. So it was like Dorian Gray, Frankenstein, Dracula, like all of these like really classic books or whatever. Frankenstein specifically, I was like, this is it for me. And then obviously when I saw Bride of Frankenstein for the first time, so like that is a love of mine. So I think I will have to say I know that influences how I feel about this and what probably why I cry because like the we belong dead type thing is like honestly stop. Anyway, so saying all that, I will say this. Lisa as a character maybe does not hit for me and maybe this is what it is until after Janet dies. And when Lisa comes into being, like just fully being like creep, weirdo, fucking deal with it, the Sherry thing, for instance, like all of it, I think that's like when it kicks into me loving Lisa as a character because in the beginning of the movie up until thenish, I'm like always kind of just so on like pre-creature Lisa, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's fair. There's
yeah,
definitely something I like Lisa's character throughout. There's something immediately that speaks to me about the she's very underdog. Like she's the one you want to root for, right? And they set her up like that. And she's fucking weird and quirky. And like, she likes to go to the cemetery and she hangs out with gravestones and has a favorite gravestone. I mean, like, that I can eat that with a spoon all day long. Like, that works for me. But you're right. There is something about when she puts on the outfit that the creature suggests. There's something about that where she becomes more of herself. She becomes more confident. I mean, the tagline for the film is a coming of rage story. So it's definitely the play on the coming of age. And it's like, it is kind of that in a very like sort of quick fashion. Um, and with fashion, we could say. But yeah, she does become like more of herself and even weirder, even more of an outcast. And I think that that's really almost endearing in a way.
yeah.
Whereas, like, I think in the first half, and I get what they're doing, I think this is very classic for 80s films, even early 90s films, like horror comedies in general. But like, everybody's just so awful around her, with the exception of the stepsister, which I thought was a really nice. I don't know if you want to call it a twist, but I think it's great that she's not just another like catty teenager. I thought it was that she actually seemed to really like her sister. But everybody is twirling mustaches and being so over the top evil and dramatic and like the Carla Gugino, whatever, Carla, I fucking hated her in this movie, and that makes me sad. I know the point
Oh,
was not like her, but I didn't like how much I didn't like her. It bothered me.
okay. I get that. I do a chef's kiss because I have never not liked a character that she's done. I hated Janet. I give a chef's kiss because I really thought there's nothing that Carla could play that I don't think I would probably love character wise. I love her and I thought she did a great job acting this character. But yes, like I hated Janet. more than anything. Like, honestly, when Janet shows up, I do a without knowing it, like scoff eye roll. So,
Yeah, and I mean, like Carla is so good. I think no matter what she does, she's going to evoke a response from you and make you feel something. Like she's just that good at what she does. But I think once she leaves, there's an equal playing field for everybody else. She's in her own class in this movie. And that's not to say that the other people aren't doing their work because they are, but they're not doing Carla. Like they're
right.
just on her level. And I almost think it's almost scene stealing in a bad way because it's so over the top and over dramatic, like in a way that I think really works for her character and what she's going for, but it does detract from other stuff for me. So I think once she leaves, I'm able to see more clearly what Cole Sprouse, what Catherine Newton, even what, oh, I didn't write down her name, but the person that plays Taffy, which like what a name. But anyways, I'm Laffy Taffy.
Yeah, like, and Janet would have a child named Taffy, to be honest. So,
It fits so perfectly. Um, and I think even like the disappearance of the mother allows that actress that plays Taffy to come alive as well. Because I actually totally buy that she's really sad that her mom is missing. There's something actually really real and genuine about that amongst all of this, like, kind of like crazy, I don't know, like spoofiness. Yeah.
yeah, I think Taffy is the real IP.
Yeah.
Janet is not. I honestly, when Janet is listening to that tape, okay, from the time that we get the creature in real or RIL, it okay, okay. Let me get this thought together. Okay. I was obsessed with Cole Sprouse in this movie. And by the end of it, I was like, I mean, no shade to Jughead, but like that's who Cole Sprouse is to me. So I was like, why are you so obsessed with Cole Sprouse? Zach or Cody, whichever one. I don't remember which one he played on that show. But like, why are you so obsessed? Because it's Jughead. I read something somewhere on the interwebs that was like, I think, like this person that wrote this was like, I think I'm so obsessed with Cole Sprouse because he does not say one word through this entire movie until the very end. And it's perfect because we don't need to hear Cole Sprouse. Like I read that he studied with a mime for like all of these months to really get down facial expressions to convey how he was feeling in scenes. And I was like, honestly, perfect. Like, you get a 10 out of 10 from me, Cole Sprouse, Jughead. And it's so weird that I even say that out loud because I'm like, it's Jughead. But perfect to me because I think he doesn't talk. So like when the creature shows up, I mean all the way through though, he's one of my favorite things about this with Catherine as Lisa, and Taffy, like all of them. But just the fact that he had no speaking lines until the end, I was like, this is crazy to me. So,
And he has such a presence throughout it all. Like, I'm not surprised that he did all of this training for it because his his physicality, the mannerisms, the way he carries himself, there is such an evolution from when he first knocks through the window and he's just this like clump of dirt walking through a house until the end when he's this like proper gentleman. And even the way he sometimes would like hold his arm behind his back, it's it's pretty understated, but it was very obvious in a way. I don't know if that's the right word, but it was like, I see him doing it and I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense. Like you're this character is lived in. I believe that you are this guy from a different time. And I
Uh,
mean, I'm gonna say it. I've loved Cole Sprouse since Big Daddy. I've been obsessed with him and not Dylan, sorry. Just Cole. I know they're twins, but just
they're
Cole.
they're twins, but they're just different, which I'm sorry, I'm sure every twin out there will say that
Yeah.
is accurate because they're not the same person. But like, no, I mean, I guess what I'm saying, like, as Jughead, because I can take Riverdale like that serious. I wish I've I've not seen Cole Sprouse in other things that I can think of, except for when he was younger, like Big Daddy or that Zach and Cody show. And just so everyone knows, I didn't watch it. It was past my years, but my niece and nephew really loved it. So I've seen a lot of Zach and Cody in my life. Okay. But and I think that's what sorry, this is a total squirrel, but Macaulay Culkin's wife, Brenda, I think she was on that show.
I don't know.
It that literally does not matter. Anyway, so back to Cole Sprouse. So I don't have a lot of um things to compare him to, just the Jughead of it all. I loved him as Jughead on Riverdale, but like, yeah. So maybe I need to see more things that Cole Sprouse is in. I'm glad he can wipe his own ass. We know that from like Big Daddy. And I mean, honestly, he at this point he could wipe my ass. Okay. Listen
Oh.
to me. I know you're watching this, Cole Sprouse.
And would you want the shower radio on? Would you want the back massager going? What are we talking here? How in depth are we getting?
I
How
mean,
how up close and personal are we getting with Cole Sprouse?
I, all of it. Give
Bruce
it all to me. And I feel kind of gross saying that because I think he's probably a good bit younger than me, but I don't care. I'm here for the cougar vibes.
I know we don't usually Google, but it feels no, he's 32, so it's fine. He's of age
Oh,
30s. It's safe. We are safe to ask for a spruce from Sprouse. I think we're good.
okay. I'm loving this.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I thought he was great. It's
yeah.
I actually almost forgot that he reads the poem at the end because it just like it's lovely. It's obviously a lovely poem and it makes sense for it to be there. It's by Mary Shelley's husband and it's sort of a nice nod to like the original source material, right? But I guess yeah, I totally forgot that he even speaks.
Well, it's such a non thing. I mean, okay, I guess I should what I mean by that is it's not what I think of when I think of Cole Sprouse in this movie, which is funny because you would almost think it should be the opposite because he doesn't talk through the whole thing. So my mind is telling me you should remember the speaking part, but I don't because I loved him as doesn't talk creature.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, so speaking of the creature, I think this was maybe another thing that kind of bumped me in the beginning. Like, okay, so I will admit I had to rewatch the opening credit sequence because I wasn't really paying too much attention. And then later on, I realized that it does kind of have a little bit of impact on the story, especially like the whole lightning deal. Like, that was pretty important. Um, but I think I wanted more from the resurrection. Like that felt a little glossed over to me. It was just all of a sudden stormy and all of a sudden it was the right kind of lightning to bring him back. I think I wanted more. I think I wanted that to be more important in a way.
mm-hmm.
Like we didn't get enough.
Yeah. No, I can yes. I can see that. I will say for me, one of my favorite scenes of the first half of the movie is though like Lisa's dream on the night of that. the resurrection happens, and like in my mind, that's like the resurrection in some weird way. So I like that because that's one of my favorite scenes. It's very weird. It's like that first sci-fi movie that was ever made, like way back in the 30s or something like that. I'm Don't fact check me because I don't know dates on this, but very melancholy, the Smashing Pumpkins album, like that's all based on that. And so that whole sequence is one of my absolute favorite parts of the entire like movie. And so I equate that in my mind to like his resurrection, but I don't know if that's A, right, or B, if someone would equate those two things together because also Lisa had drugs. Like she was roofied. So like also,
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, do you think it's a, I guess maybe it's a dream she's having, but it's a drug-fueled dream, right? Like certainly she's experiencing those types of visions or that type of all because of these drugs that she's had, I would think. So I did Google it and I think it's maybe called A Trip to the Moon from 1902,
oh, okay.
widely considered to be the first ever sci-fi film, and the picture that comes up with it is pretty reminiscent of some of the imagery that we get in Lisa Frankenstein, just like the moon that we
The
keep.
moon.
There's more of a human face to this one. It's not as like animated, I guess, but yeah, that's really interesting. I want to read more
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've never actually watched that, just but because I love sci-fi, I just know that random
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, so
Do you
uh,
remember the director that Lisa says she really likes? Do you remember the name? Because I wonder if it just is it Georges Méliès?
oh, I mean, I know the part you're talking about, but the name does not, never has stuck with me.
That's fair. Because I wondered if maybe it was like a nod to the person that directed that movie. But
It
anyways,
might be.
watching or telling us, they're screaming at us, they're letting us know. It's
I
fine.
know. I'm so sorry.
By the time you see this, we've figured it out, probably.
Yeah, or maybe we know, and it's like a we're testing everybody watching. Just kidding. That's not happening. But
I would have played it off.
um,
Yes, I'm just looking at my notes to because I want to just get out all the things that irked me so that they're gone. Because, like, truly overall, I loved this and I definitely want to watch it again. Because I am interested to see, like, on a second time through, do those same things like irritate me in the same way? Or now, like, knowing where it goes, are those easier to just kind of like ride with? You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I think I think I've kind of hit everything. Like, maybe just with the exception of I really hated how mean everybody was to her about her mom's death. Like that was just so cruel. And again, I think it really fits with the genre, the type of story that they're going for. Like people are very callous about this kind of thing in those kinds of movies that they're like paying tribute to in a way or that they're stylizing themselves after. So I get it, but I was just like, I want her, like, maybe it was also helping because it was like, I want her to kill all these people. I'm totally fine with all of these people dying because you're cruel and insensitive and go fuck yourself.
Absolutely. Also, I will tell you, yeah, so like the the teenage kids or whatever, yeah, like that's annoying and it's annoying in non-spoofy movies, right? I will tell you what I don't understand, and I mean maybe it's just supposed to be stupid, but like how does her dad, how is he so nonchalant about the fact that his wife was butchered like that with his daughter at home? I mean, I guess part of that's part of it, but like that is what irritates me when it comes to the mom stuff specifically. Like evil stepmother, that whole trope thing, fine. But like the dad part, I'm just like, give me something, daddy-o. Like,
I mean, I'm irritated by this as well, and I also see how it fully plays into the like lackadaisical sort of bonehead dad type of thing where it's like the woman or the mom has to do everything and the dad is just kind of like the dad gets to be the good guy, right? Like yeah, it's very bizarre. There's some things where like again, the first half of this story like I think I get what they're trying to do, but I almost wish they had more time to do it because I think they could have fleshed things out just a little bit further, made it a little bit tighter. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I feel like there were probably so, oh gosh, I'm gonna feel very blasphemous saying this, but like today when I was really putting aside my biased love for Lisa Frankenstein, um, I I almost feel like some of the Lisa creature things maybe we could have cut cut down a little bit. I really hate saying that because I don't want it to go away, but just to give some more space and time to some of the things like that, that maybe just a little bit more of it being fleshed out wouldn't be so like head scratching for me. I mean, even if it's spoofy or campy, like whatever with that, I still would think there'd be a little bit something more, maybe. So I don't
That the
know.
campy has come up because that's this film is so campy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's some scenes like the scene where the guy that she has the crush on drops off the jacket to be cleaned. Like I don't why? Like I guess I just don't think that was necessary, but I don't
Well,
it's just
that,
a chance for somebody to be mean to Lisa.
well, I could see that that's a scene I probably just could have done without. Maybe just a little snippet of showing us that she works at the tailor, because then the tailor himself, I'm just like, what's this? Because like, fine if it's like what, like if it's just another person being me, like shitting on Lisa, but like the flat chested comment, like that's another, that's a character and a moment in, and I think that's like really one of the bigger reasons why like the first like the first act like it, I have like some problems like getting through, and I love it past that, but like yeah, that's weird to me. I don't get it. So
But truly, like I do mean it when I say I enjoyed this, and I think that the reason, because I do think it got pretty mixed reviews. Like we said, it didn't do very well at box office, but I think people probably don't dislike it for things like that. Like they don't like it because it's weird and
yeah,
like has a very strange tone to it. But
doesn't
all
make sense.
Sure. But all of that I'm totally fine with. Like at one point I said, this is so stupid. I love it. Like
Honestly, yes, like it's so absurd
absurd.
that it's not, it almost becomes not absurd enough for me. I'm like, give me more stupidity. Like if that even makes sense. Like I, the stupider the better, because honestly, that period in life to me is very stupid. I mean, maybe controversial yet brave, right? But like the asshole people at school and stuff like that. Like what I love is that Lisa becomes unapologetically herself, and then at the end, that's who she's going to be forever. Fucking love that. Um, so the real absurd stuff in the middle, I'm like, just get even stupider with it. Like the interaction in the principal's office, where they're like, well, you have fat ankles or what, like somebody with ankles like that couldn't accomplish this. And I'm like, give me more stupid stuff like that. It's perfect.
Give me more of that cop just chewing gum open mouthed and talking about how she wishes the goth would end. That character was so great. Like I could have done with a couple more minutes of that or like another scene with her or something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely.
Maybe the first half just wasn't leaning into it in the right way, or it was like trying to balance. Like I get it. It's hard to tell a story. It's hard to set the pins up so that you can knock them down. Like I totally get it, but I mean whatever, because once it takes that turn, everything from there on out is so exciting and so fun, and I'm like so 100% on board. It's endearing, it's adorable, it's cute, it's silly, it's funny. Like the no it's Lisa line is probably my favorite from the movie, but there's multiple times that I actually laughed out loud. And I will call something funny without laughing out loud. Like I can appreciate the humor of something and be like, "Oh yeah, that was funny," but never laugh out loud during it. This had me laughing several times.
Yeah.
And like, I appreciate that in this world.
Listen, I mean, I'm really into dark humor. So again, like when I say like Heather's, uh,
Yeah.
I've really rarely found, and this might be more telling on myself that I might not be around the right kind of people, but I very rarely have found people that even A, know what I'm talking about when I talk about Heather's, or B, enjoy it. So, like, for me, dark, dumb humor like that is right up my alley because it, to me, it's a weirdo staple in some way. I don't know how to really explain it, but it's like that's inner monologue that goes on in my head that you don't really say out loud. So I'm really going to read books or watch things where the characters do say it out loud because I'm like, yes, that's, we're all thinking it. You know what I mean? So I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story of somebody who feels alienated or outside of the mainstream. And I think there's this really good line where I can't exactly remember what she says, but it's something about how the cure, it's not an actual cure, but it could cure your soul or it can cure
Emotionally.
your emotionally. Yeah, it can cure you emotionally. And I was like, this is such a great encapsulation of A, how melodramatic teenagers can be. And like it captures it really nicely. But B, how it's actually really true that some people just feel those things much deeper and are like um are made fun of for it, I guess, or like ostracized or like because it's like I think as a teenager, we're trying so hard to fit in and be accepted that we forget all of those beautiful little things that make us us is like what's actually important. And I look back now on high school and I'm so envious of all the weirdos, of all the kids who just were themselves no matter what. And so now anytime I see a story like this, even if it's with adults, but especially teenagers, I'm so endeared to these characters and I want them to win even if they're murdering people for no reason. Like it's I don't know, it's like a I guess it is like an underdog thing. I'm just like rooting and I'm like, I just want them to have a win.
Yeah. Well, now, was there no reason? I think there was plenty of reason. No.
I think like, yes, fair.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. This is something
Deserve to have his hand chopped off. Yes, 100%.
absolutely. Janet deserved. Sorry, but Janet deserved to die. Also, my creature needed these parts. This was very important. Okay. So really, characters that didn't make it, your your sacrifice is recognized. Okay, we appreciate it.
You're good.
You're good. Um, now I I will tell you another thing that I absolutely loved was this character of Michael. I didn't like Michael, okay? I loved the character and this storyline of Michael because this guy was like to me that poser guy. He like wanted to be a weirdo, artsy fartsy, I'm cool. And he wasn't. And now I love that because everything that Lisa says to him, I am okay in that house when he's with Taffy is so true because it's like, oh, you want to be cool. You want to be seen this way, but not the girl that you're with. I mean, and I what I didn't like about that was that it was a big diss to Taffy because I like Taffy, but what she was saying is not untrue. Like
Yeah.
this guy is I feel like they did a really good job of the poser guy that is just a jerk. And I'm glad he got his dick chopped off. Okay. He deserved it.
That moment was so wild for me. I fully did not see it coming. Looking back, it's like, oh yeah, that's so obvious now, but like in a great way. I can't believe I didn't see that coming. But I like literally my jaw dropped when he did it, and it was in slow motion. I had plenty of time to prepare for the next moment, but the blood splattering the faces in slow motion, and you're thinking like it's just human blood, but you're thinking of where this blood is coming from, and it like just adds insult to injury in a way of like getting splattered with blood. It was so good. That moment was so good. Like I feel like it it was all leading there to this like beautiful crescendo almost, and it did not disappoint. But I totally agree, and I love that little speech from Lisa. I thought it was so on point. It was one of the moments in the movie that I think helps to like ground everything else that's going on and kind of propels it into like a very like 21st century kind of view, because it's like, yeah, like you don't really want the girl to be cool. You just want to be cool. And that's pretty fucked up. Like you're an asshole. You're just like the rest of them, just in a different jacket. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Uh so that not just the blood, the slow mo. Honestly, I have to if I left this video without saying that I thought Zelda Williams did an amazing job. I think this was her first directorial, like this was the debut, perhaps, or
Might be. I did go down a wild rabbit hole figuring out who Zelda Williams was, and then
oh,
Robin Williams, and crying for about 3 hours yesterday afternoon. Like, or actually, no, sorry, that was earlier today. Yeah. I didn't know the connection there. And then I was like thinking about Robin Williams. Anyways, that's my squirrel moment. Um, I'll look it up, but yeah, I thought she did such a great job as well.
oh man. So the whole part of this, or like the director, right? So the shots, everything, but Catherine Newton, it has to be said, those facial expressions, like when she sees like the dick flying, it is one of my favorite parts as well because her face, I mean, it really feels like it goes from I'm like oh no, the creature's out of control to also like um this guy's getting killed and also I don't want my like Taffy to get hurt. And then also, whoa, that's a big dick. So the facial range in this one moment alone is one of my favorite parts of this movie. And it's so stupid that it is around this guy getting his penis chopped off, but I love it.
Was the moment where I was like, this is so stupid. I love it.
Yes, exactly.
Which I can't believe I forgot until this moment. It's the shadow. The
Yeah,
dick flying through the air, which it would not look like that.
no,
It's just been severed from a human body. Let me tell you, it is not erect and ready to go. But that's
it's
to portray it, and I think it was a great choice.
love it. And I mean, honestly, like that dick couldn't have gone to a better like person though. Okay. So in my notes,
Kind of poetic
it
that
is.
still loses her virginity to, I mean, to the member that belonged to this boy she had a crush on.
Well, to the person that she thought. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all she wants, and I think she deserves it.
I yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so in my notes, I just have to like read this verbatim. Like my favorite scenes, like Lisa's dream, right? But then um I also put like basically everything after um they chop Michael's dick off. Because like honestly, that like on it is like where yes, I'm laughing hysterically because it's stupid, but then I start crying. Like because
I know this like beautiful moment in between. Well, it's a beautiful creepy moment that I thought worked really nicely with Lisa and Taffy in the car. The girl playing Taffy is so good at being terrified of Lisa. Like that is one of the only truly like scary moments in the movie. I actually feel her fear in that moment. It was really well done. And then they cut to Lisa sewing a penis on the creature. And I'm just giggling hysterically like a child. I'm loving every second of it.
I mean, probably after we get through talking tonight, I'm gonna watch it again. Okay, but probably starting. Yes.
Off, but then also looking down and sort of like being proud of what's happening.
But see, like that, okay, honestly, okay, hear me out. I'm probably reaching so far with this. Okay, but like the creature's heart, the person the creature was, is, okay, just a little aside, when the creature's playing the piano and she's like, "Oh, who is this?" Like, and he's like, it's I made it or whatever. Like that realization that she has, where she's like, "You lived a whole life, like you're a whole person." Honestly, okay, let me let me get it together. Okay, so anyway, I love that the creature's heart, who the creature is, was made better by the parts of the people that Lisa struggled slash wanted. And this is what I have written. Now, go with me down this crazy thought process I have.
In the car, I'm buckled up. Let's go.
Thank you. I'm not going to scare you like Taffy was. Okay. So, Janet, the creature got Janet's ear. Also, can we talk about how hilarious it is that he wore the earring the entire time?
I really thought that was going to be bad news for them, but didn't come
Yeah.
out.
So he's got Janet's ear, and to me, it's like Janet never like listened to Lisa. That might be a stretch, but like then we've got Doug, I believe is his name. I've really tried to block him out, but like our sexual assault guy. We've Mr. Christian. Okay. We've got his hand that he was trying to do very bad things. He was trying to hurt Lisa with. That's another way. Like Janet didn't listen, care about Lisa like that. Okay. So then we've got this hand, and it's the creature gets it and then like gets Michael's dick. I think that's just hilarious because she wanted to like lose her virginity to him. So like the creature gets all the parts of the people who got what was coming to them, and it just made like that made him the perfect person. I don't know. Like, am I crazy for even like thinking this? I don't know.
I think we should continue the road trip. Let's pull over. Let's get snacks. I'm in it for the long haul. I really like that take a lot, actually. Like, I mean, I think Lisa does say something like, um, he was going to do bad things with that hand. Like, and so, like, I love where you've taken it with the other bits and pieces that the creature gets. I think that makes so much sense. That's really, I mean, that's really beautiful to me, actually. Like, there's something resonant there of like, well, don't we as humans pick up things from other people throughout our lives that like, we take a piece of this person with us and like that person impacted us in this way. It's kind of like a just like a literal read like a physical, tangible, like, oh, I actually took your ear and I'm going to actually listen to Lisa with this. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Like I'm going to, oh, thank you. Yeah. Like I'm going to caress Lisa with
Yeah.
these hands that you were going to do very naughty things with. And then, I'm Michael, the dick went to a better person, more deserving person. And now he's going to be able to pleasure her. Thank you for the parts.
Because it's not about the size, but how you use it. And I'm pretty sure the creature is going to use it that much better.
Okay, but did you not love like okay, the things, the dialogue in this movie, even though 90% of it is probably really stupid and absurd, the dialogue though, like even when Lisa says to the creature, like when they reconnect, right? Before he's like, I have the dick, can you just sew it on? Where she's like, oh, you don't have that? That doesn't make you a man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like honestly, I love it. Oh, just eat it with a spoon.
Yeah, that was another really great line that I didn't expect from this movie, but I really appreciated it being there. Like I thought that was a really nice line. And then yeah, it's weird because I'm thinking now in this moment, it's like there's something weird about the way that they balance things throughout the first half, and then it just really works in the second half, or they're doing it differently or something. Because like she has this really great line about like that's okay, we can do other things. That doesn't make you a man. And then, oh my God, you cut it off because you love me, and it's like that's fucking psycho. Like, that is not something people who love each other do, but okay.
But honestly, I I guess I'm just demented enough to where I like for me when I heard that I was like, it's true. Like this is a fucking love story. Okay.
Like, by now we have learned that cutting off pieces of other people's bodies is to make himself better for her is his love language.
Well, no, absolutely. He can't speak, but
Exactly.
that's he says it. He
How do
shows it in other ways.
actions? That's right. Yes.
Yes.
Um, one thing we haven't talked about is the tanning bed of
Oh
it all.
no, I was fixing to. I literally was. That was my next note. Okay. Yes. Please continue.
So long of the movie, I was like, is this film funded by Big Tanning Bed? Because I mean, what a tagline, what a selling point that you can give a recently deceased human that alive again glow. Imagine what we could do for living people. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. But then they either really fucked up their agenda when Lisa uses it to kill herself, or somebody else got their money in the pockets and decided to do something else with it.
I just yes, yes, all of that. And then again, to me, I'm just obsessed with the fact that the electricity piece is a tanning bed. Like it's so ludicrous 80s. Oh gosh. Like honestly, okay. But
Pretty,
also, yeah, but also
pretty smart.
exactly. And to be honest, give me that tanning bed because that creature just got more attractive after every use.
This is what I'm saying. This was Big Tanning Bed's agenda, was like
Give it to.
usage of our beds can
Uh-huh.
bring you back to life.
Uh-huh.
Want to
Uh-huh.
and younger, even if you died 100 years ago.
I mean, honestly, I it's making me almost just like want to get one and then like will a dead person to come back into my life just so I can hope that after I cook them a few times in the tanning bed that they come out as attractive as the creature was. That's my demented
It's
brain.
incredibly morbid. It's far more morbid than wearing the rosary of your dead mother, but I think it works in this universe.
Yes. Well, and speaking of universe, I believe Diablo confirmed this is the same universe as Jennifer's body, just so everyone knows. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Like Jennifer's body is also absurd in a way.
Oh
So
yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I put the tanning bed is everything. Now, I have in here the tanning bed scene with the creature specifically after he got the hand. There was something I'm like Lisa and the chopping off of the privates seemed facial wise. This is my favorite where with the creature facial wise, just the way he is like after like his little fingers and hands are working and he looks at her. I'm like, okay, I'm fucking obsessed with this. Like, what in the world?
oh man, I can't remember that specific scene. I'll have to look for it on a rewatch.
Gosh, I mean it. I very different reasons I'm obsessed with it. For me, it was like that was what sealed it for me, where I was like, I'm would fuck the creature.
Yeah. I mean,
Just
too bad he didn't have his own parts left, you know? Like, I feel like that is kind of a crime, but,
yeah.
he got something.
And then also what I love is that, that when she does die, I mean that she's like, I love how stupid Lisa is. Stupid. Where it's like, oh, don't cry. Okay, maybe I feel like I'm in some ways like this, okay, because it's like, oh, don't cry, and she's like, but she acts like she's wiping a tear, and then she pulls that note like out from behind her ear. I don't know, like I'm obsessed with this. And then also where she's like, okay, don't forget to put it on Max Bronze. I don't know. Like it is so funny to me because it's like, okay, well, I'm off to die now. But I need you to make sure we do it right. As to all the way up to Max Bronze. Mister, you're just now back in this world. Okay. So
Max Braun.
Max. Oh,
It is. See, this is what I'm saying. Like the way that they're balancing these things in this part of the movie just works so nicely, and I just can't figure out why it doesn't hit in the same way in the beginning. But there's like,
but do you think it's because she didn't have okay, I'm wondering if it's because maybe it works so well because it's with the creature.
yeah,
Maybe, I don't know, because I'm thinking to myself, like, that's really not, well, she obviously is fully embracing herself, right? Like at this point, but also she has the other half of her to play off of now. It was not like she didn't really have that before. So, like, maybe the absurd dialogue and stuff, it doesn't land with what normal people, quote unquote, like in her life before the creature comes back or whatever. And I mean, maybe that's what it is.
yeah, I kind of like that take. Like there's something that's not quite falling into place for Lisa herself. And so, like, they're reflecting that in the movie, maybe. I mean, it might be a generous read, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm trying. That's the best that I've got for why I don't maybe care for that part.
Yeah. And the
Like
thing
for me,
it's not, it wasn't enough for me to be like, oh my God, I can't watch this, or like, I
no,
don't
no.
see it just sticks out. And maybe it just sticks out because the second half is just so great. So I don't know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
Um, there's one more moment that really struck me, and I didn't expect it, just given everything that had come before it. There's that scene where they're sitting on the bed, and Lisa starts talking about her mom's death and the way that humans navigate death, or really how they choose to avoid it and not think about it, and like, you know, be afraid of it and like worry that they don't have control. That was so real. And it was such a like, and again, like very soon after that, they switch into something that's goofy and absurd, and the tonal shift works really nicely. But that moment, I was like, oh, I feel like I really, really needed that to just like connect that much deeper with this story, with this character, but it was really beautiful. Like Catherine Newton is great. I've I've liked her since I saw her in Freaky, but I I think I want to watch everything because I think she's really enjoying or she's really enjoyable to watch.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
All of that.
I love her. Now, I really liked her in Freaky, and she was was on the show like Big Little Lies, but like I only watched the first season or the only one season of that. I don't remember a lot from that if I'm being honest, but I she's recognizable to me from that. However, after I watched Lisa Frankenstein, immediately I was like, I want to see everything. Like, give me a list of all the things that she's been in. And I went down the list with so she's in Abigail, which I also enjoyed, but maybe also I really enjoyed because she was in it also. But
I'm
I
remem
love her.
remembering now that she's in, I think it's a Netflix series called The Society, but I think it either had one or two seasons. Um,
I didn't watch that. Yeah.
it's like a post-apocalyptic type thing. All it's with all teenagers. It was also very good. I I can't remember now how long it was on, but anyway, she's in that as well. It's very good.
Okay. I will check that out.
Yeah. I think yeah, I don't think there's very many episodes, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely want to check out more that she's in because she just like she herself is very good at moving back and forth between these. And I mean, I know they're filming different scenes at different times, but she just is able to sell it and take me through those like ups and downs and those like shifts. And yeah, she's very fun. She's very funny too. She has good comedic timing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love her. I love her.
Funny moment was the phone call about Janet being missing and the way that Taffy is describing her mother. But first, how the dad goes, her hair's multicolor? What the fuck does that mean?
I mean, I guess this is really like what I was asking, or as I was questioning earlier, I was like, I think, yeah, he's just the aloof, like,
Yes.
dumb, dumb dad, you know? But yes, I just was like, that's the vast difference. Yeah, in just in, well, I mean, multicolored, you know? And then, of course, when Taffy's like, you know how we get chocolate labs to the park? I don't know. I mean, and I love after
Yeah, so brown.
right, and I love after all of the time spent like giving these wonderful descriptions of Janet. She's like, yeah, she's a bitch.
I want to hear the other side of that phone call because it's like, what was the other person saying that Taffy was like, yeah, she's a bitch?
I don't know, but I mean, again, you're right when you said like after Janet, the character of Janet is gone, like Taffy really got a chance to shine then as well. I mean, because I love Taffy. Like I know I a lot of my conversation is going to be around Lisa and the creature, but like I love Taffy, and I wasn't even upset at Taffy when we discovered her in the bed with Michael. I was mostly mad at Michael, right? And I was just like, how dare? Because in my mind, I was like, how dare you? You're taking advantage of Taffy in some way. I just know it because I just cannot hate Taffy.
No, because she really showed no signs of that whole classic tropey, like sisters against sisters or like teenage girls against teenage girls. Like she was very supportive of Lisa the entire time. And there's a comment that's made where it's like, they maybe really did connect off screen. And like Taffy is saying, most people just want me for sex. Like this person maybe he's lying to her, but he's showing an interest in her life beyond that. So like that's nice for her. We don't get to see it, so we can't really like confirm it, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Um. Okay.
And you got more?
just a couple more things. Well, I mean, no, I could talk for hours about this, but a couple more things. The music also was fucking amazing in this.
So good.
And I think how I am also probably biased to the Frankenstein bride story anyway. I'm also very biased to the scene when they reconnect, like after she gets out of the car with Taffy. Like she thinks that she's going to kill the creature or whatever, but Pixies kick in with Wave of Mutilation, which is my favorite song. Um, and honestly, it's all I can think of. When I hear that song now, I'm like, okay, well, this is what Lisa just knew that she loved. The trick. I'm so stupid. Um, but the music was fantastic. And I love obviously the Oh Mary Dear poem at the end. I love that he's on the bench again, like because in the begin, like to open and end the movie, this character, because like in the opening, one of the things is like he's by the lake, the same spot with the love of his life at that point, and she went off with somebody else or whatever, which broke his heart. But like the fact that he's at this spot again with Lisa, who is reanimated and a perfect bride reanimation or reimagination, if I have to say, right? But like in reading this to her, I don't know. I'm just like, this could not have ended more perfect to me. Love it.
You, Bride of Frankenstein expert, then. Because when I see Lisa reanimated, my brain goes to like, oh, they're doing like a mummy thing. But is this how, is she like wrapped in bandages at some point? So that's like a direct sort of like connection.
Yeah, so the classic, oh, you can't see it. That classic look, I have a painting on my wall. Of the bride with the white,
Yeah.
basically the wedding gown, but she's got that's bandages on her
Okay.
from when they reanimated the corpse.
Wow, that's a nice touch.
Yes. So truly when I say how it ended, like I know it looks like the bride hair and everything like in Lisa's drug fueled dream, which is probably why I love that part so much. But like the end with that specific bride thing, I was like, that's it. Like honestly, the stuff that I don't like, I don't it doesn't even matter to me because how they did the end of it was beautiful. Um
Truly, by the time the credits roll, my feeling is like, oh, I wanted more, but like in a good way, not in a way of like I'm left unsatisfied, but in a way of like, oh, I want to spend more time with these characters. That was fun.
yeah,
And probably better that they don't. Like,
yeah.
I'm very hesitant for them to do some sort of sequel where they're
I
both
don't want it.
think
Mm-mm.
it to screw it up. Um, I think it's like good, like, oh, leave me wanting more. I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
good place to be in. Yeah.
I
Uh,
want to be left wanting to watch it again to be with them again. I don't want to watch another movie about it. Like this, please. I hope that they don't. I don't think that they would, but please don't. um some things I don't want more of. Like this is all I want with this. So,
I think it was enough. It was good. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, if you don't have anything left on Lisa Frankenstein, I wanted to ask you a quick question about like Frankenstein in
Mhm.
general.
Mhm.
Um, okay, I know that there's been plenty of not necessarily remakes, but lots of movies that use that original source material to create a new story. Like it's nothing new, but I do feel like there's been a kind of a resurgence of this type of film as of late. Like we have Lisa Frankenstein. There's another movie called Birth Rebirth, which definitely has some Frankenstein themes. There's another one, the I think it's the angry black girl and her monster or something like that, and that has like reanimation vibes. Is that something you've noticed as well, or is this just like a thing that kind of cycles back around every so often and we get like a bunch of, rehashing of the Frankenstein story?
Yeah, think I think that the idea of it is just so popular that maybe it's not specifically a reimagination of like the story Frankenstein as much as the idea of uh rebirth or reanimation. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't I'm not familiar with the ones that you've mentioned, but like when things I have seen that have that Frankenstein vibe has been more in the vein of, well, you know, if you could like play God, like should you do it? And like what would you do it for? So it's really that, to me, good tale of like morality, which is probably why Mary Shelley was so ahead of her time when she wrote this story. Because like reading it, you don't really get that like all of these playing God themes like came from this. You know what I mean? Like, so it might not be like Frankenstein itself, but yeah, I mean, I think it's just such a popular or such a wonderful way of thinking about things like this. And yeah, so it's influenced, I'm sure, by that.
It's on my brain. It's on my brain. It's in my head. It's on my mind, whatever. It's circling around up there because Mary Shelley, so this is an astrology squirrel that we're about to go into, but Mary Shelley was born with the planet Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, and Pluto is recently moving into Aquarius again for like the first time in about 250 years. So I'm and it doesn't mark the like I think her Pluto or yeah was very near to the end of the sign. So by the time Frankenstein came out, I think it was in Pisces. I will fact check that. But so it's just in my head because like I'm wondering if we're gonna get this like resurgence of this type of story, if it's gonna like dominate horror films, or if we're maybe just gonna get more people thinking like Mary Shelley was and giving us something that, like you're saying, is way ahead of its time. So we're going
Yeah.
to get different, but similar in the way of like Mary Shelley was this like huge innovation bringing us this Frankenstein story. What will be birthed now?
Yeah.
Exciting.
Well, and I will say this. I would not hate it if someone re like did an updated Frankenstein story, but told it, or no, not told it, showed it in a more story accurate or book accurate way, because like the creature itself, like that Dr. Frankenstein created, um Prometheus, if you will. Sorry. Just okay. Was not a hideous, gruesome creature. So I have to say that's like something I maybe love too about this is that yes, like through time, the creature character, he wasn't hideous and scary like by the end. And I I'm hoping maybe if someone will redo the story, it won't be the green big guy with the square head thing. Nothing's wrong with that. I love it. But like a more accurate, because it he was a regular person, he looked like regular parts sewn together, but he just had obviously distinguishing things that people were like, this isn't right. But he didn't look like a big green, like scary dude.
Well,
Yeah.
Read Frankenstein and now I really want to. I've been thinking about reading it for a while. Like the reason that I'm thinking about Mary Shelley is because just being an astrologer and like thinking about what's happening currently, that's an example that has been like coming up in a lot of astrology circles. So I'm like, I should really read this. This is like the birth of horror and I haven't read it. Like come on, let's go.
I think I like really, I think you would love it because it's it is such a wonderful tale of, well, isn't this fascinating in the name of science or whatever, right? Like this doctor, you don't have to die. I have found a way to be health, you can live forever. Like, what's the cost? And those, yeah,
I love this that we as humans have been searching for that fountain of youth since forever. And to bring it back to Lisa Frankenstein, that they gave it the twist of you can find it in a tanning bed.
exactly. And you can find it in a tanning bed.
Like that's going to be part of the reanimation, the revivification.
Yeah, make tanning beds wonderful. Um, but also with a peach gummy ring.
Oh, yeah.
I love that candy.
Beloved wife.
I also,
Side-eyeing so hard at this grave. Like, what is her problem?
well, yeah,
It's
okay,
happy.
yeah, and like Taffy is honestly, I almost just wish we maybe had a little bit more with Taffy also. I know Taffy's not like the main character, okay? But like Taffy is very fascinating to me as a character because you would think that trope is aloof, like what we were talking about, right? But like Taffy's a lot deeper than that. Like it's almost funny, maybe, because like Michael was trying to avoid like being with somebody that was as cool as he is or whatever, but the joke's on you. Taffy's way cooler than you'll ever be. But like even by the end of it, I was like, Taffy's cool. Like almost if we got another movie and it was like something about Taffy, I'd be fine with that. Um, because this the way that Taffy was even like questioning, right? Like looking at the grave and stuff. It's just like, yeah, she's a thinker
Give
and deeper.
give her her next. She's like, she'll come back seeking revenge because she's figured out what happened.
Oh man.
Don't do it. Don't do it,
No,
guys.
no. Or let us do it.
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
This was a
I
great
don't,
pick. I'm so glad you suggested it.
oh good. I just possum pride. That's the only other thing I have. Because obviously, like when I saw that the mascot was a possum, I was like, I mean, how many more boxes are you gonna check for me at this point?
Totally missed that. That's awesome.
Yeah, they were the possums. And when Lisa is slow mo, yeah, when Lisa is slow mo walking down the halls of the school, there's a little possum that's doing like a Twin Peaks. It's not Twin Peaks, but listen, like the dance, right? The guy from the locker, like when he does, like when he, at the beginning of Twin Peaks, the first episode, he's it's doing that same thing, like with the possum head on, and I was like, ah, of course,
I t
yes,
I feel like I don't know if you caught that on your first watch, but that might be like a fifth watch for me that registers because I'm too busy like agog at Lisa walking through the halls with such confidence. It's such a great moment for her.
multiple watches. Yeah, no, I didn't catch the dancing possum in the background the first time. Um, Yes. And then honestly, yeah, like I kind of want on my tombstone at this point, like death is temporary. I'll love you forever. Like that's the note that she gave him. And I mean, I was just like, just put a fork in me.
A quote from elsewhere, or is that just here? I feel like I've heard that before, or it feels so poignant that it's like it's got to be in a poem somewhere or something, but
It, oh, it might be.
I could Google, but I think I've hit my Google limit for one episode.
We
So
did, yeah. Let's don't Google anymore. We're breaking our own rules at this point. So,
my Google fingers were hot tonight. I don't know why, but
well, okay. So I'm very glad. I figured that you were going to be into it. I'm also like the points that you've made as far as like things that didn't work, totally get that because it doesn't work like at least the first time for me as well. Like it, you know, but by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, no, it doesn't take away, but I agree with it. But that just it hits that weirdo spot. It itches that like be yourself, be the weirdo you are, scratch for me. And it's gorgeous, like the colors, the music, like all of it to me. So I was like, I'm so glad that you enjoyed it in the same way because I was a bit nervous. I gotta tell you.
fair, but good on you for suggesting it because I think like that can be really hard to suggest something you love so deeply to somebody and like entrust it with them. You know, like this is what I did with Twin Peaks all those years ago. I was like, well, I guess, I haven't known her for that long, so if she hates it, whatever. I'll cut and run. Like we'll be done.
You
But
know,
we're
we're still early enough. Be
right now,
okay. Huh?
then it was early enough.
No, right. Like then it's kind of like, well, you know what? We're still early enough that, yeah, if she's not into it, there's nothing to hurt feelings.
Whereas now, the
No,
stakes
no,
are higher.
no. Yeah, no.
No, I loved it. It was great.
I'm
Um, I think I have something picked out for our next movie. So I assume you'll let me pick the next one, hopefully. I mean, unless we do a new release, but we haven't really discussed it, so.
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know of anything that's really come out that I'm like, I have to see in theaters. Because I wanted, yeah, I thought I wanted to see Trap in the theater, which is like that new M. Night Shyamalan. Anyway, I don't think I can wait for streaming on that. So yes, please pick the next one and
Okay.
decide.
Should I say it or should I leave it as a surprise? What do you think? And now I'm like second guessing whether or not you've seen it, but I don't think you have. I think we would have talked about it. You
Oh,
you decide. Should I surprise or should I like
no, let's do a surprise for every now. Full disclosure, I will ask them after, but like y'all will not know. Okay.
yeah, sounds good. So you'll just have to join us again next time and see what we'll be covering.
That's our ploy.
Well, thank you so much for watching this episode. Have you seen Lisa Frankenstein? What did you think of it? Let us know in the comments. How does it stack up to like other Frankenstein stories? Do you love Catherine Newton? Do you love Cole Sprouse? Have you loved him since Big Daddy? What are all of your thoughts? Share them all in the comments. How many crimping related accidents have you been in? Tell us your stories. We know you have them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know you don't heat style before cheer practice, so don't even give us that shit in the comments either.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you next time.